So picture this. It's just a regular day in New York City. People are walking around, checking out shops, grabbing coffee, maybe even stopping by one of the coolest clothing stores in Manhattan. This isn't just any shop. It's part of a brand connected to one of the biggest names in music, a place fans love to visit just to be a part of the vibe. But on this particular day, things took a turn nobody expected.
Tripping. He's on the corner, tripping, black girl. She want to be on calm. What? Mad calm.
He keeps calling me for his children. He keeps calling me.
You're wearing a shirt right now. Be careful, there's definitely a knife and...
Yeah, we see it right
It
here.
was just to cut up his clothes that he stole my designs.
Yeah.
Kept it plain as possible.
Not her, but I'm the manager.
I'm going to the
So we get
hospital.
races like this.
I don't have my medication.
It's strange. They hear the name. No, no, shit. I keep my distance.
I take Tylenol. I take Adderall.
I'm not gonna do it my whole life. That's the meet out every bro. Those windows are gonna collapse in. I can hear it. They're like, making noise.
A woman walked into that store carrying a bag. At first, nobody thought much of it. New Yorkers are used to people carrying all kinds of stuff, but then, suddenly, she pulled out a hammer. That's when the quiet energy of the store completely flipped. Without warning, she started smashing things. Glass shattered, racks got knocked over, clothes spilled to the ground. It wasn't a slow scene. It was instant chaos. One moment people are browsing, the next moment they're backing up, trying to figure out what's going on. The damage piled up fast. Windows were broken, displays were wrecked, shelves and hangers were trashed. By the time it was over, the store had more than $23,000 in damages. That's not just one broken mirror or one ruined jacket. That's a whole wave of destruction in just a few minutes. But here's where it gets even wilder. She didn't take anything. She didn't steal clothes or grab bags. Instead, she took it further by spraying stuff all over the clothing and displays. And then, as if that wasn't enough, she pulled out a lighter and tried to spark a fire using an aerosol can. Imagine that. The sound of glass crunching on the ground, the clothes ruined with spray, and then someone actually trying to light it all up. Luckily, the fire didn't take. The lighter flicked, the spray hissed, but nothing really caught on. That probably saved the whole store from being completely destroyed. The police showed up fast. Sirens cut through the noise of Manhattan, and officers rushed in. In minutes, she was in handcuffs. Her name is Shauna Stoner, and she's from Queens. But here's the mystery. Nobody knows why she did it. She hasn't explained, and there's no clear reason she would target that store. She doesn't have any known connection to the people behind it. It just seems like a random, shocking burst of chaos that left everyone with more questions than answers. Now, the shop she attacked wasn't just a random clothing spot. This was the OVO store, October's very own. That's the fashion line launched by one of the biggest rappers in the world back in 2011. It's a brand that's grown beyond just music. People buy the clothes, they representative the owl logo, and they feel like they're part of the culture. There are locations in other big cities too, Toronto, London, Los Angeles. But this Manhattan store was one of the most famous, and that's the one she went after. The timing couldn't have been worse. The artist behind OVO has been having a rough stretch lately. Earlier this year, he was the target of a major moment on one of the biggest stages in the world. when another huge rapper performed a song calling him out during the Super Bowl halftime show. To make it worse, two women from his past appeared on stage during that performance, which made headlines everywhere. Then, not long after, one of his close musician friends was hurt overseas in a scary situation. All of that already had his name in the news. And now comes this, a shocking scene at his own store. The more you think about it, the crazier it gets. Imagine you're walking in Manhattan, maybe window shopping, and suddenly you hear glass smashing. You turn your head, and there's someone swinging a hammer inside one of the most well-known clothing stores in the city. Clothes are flying, alarms are blaring, people are gasping, and then she whips out a lighter and tries to set the place on fire. It all happens so fast that by the time the police arrive, you're left trying to piece together what you just saw. And the strangest part is still the motive. She didn't go in to take anything. She didn't run off with expensive jackets or sneakers. She didn't leave a note or shout a message. It was just pure destruction, like she wanted to break it apart and walk away. That's what leaves everyone scratching their heads. Why do something that doesn't seem to have a point? The store is now left to deal with the aftermath. Broken windows need replacing. Racks and shelves have to be fixed, and hundreds of clothes may be unsellable after being sprayed. Insurance might cover some of it, but it still takes time and energy to get a place like that back to normal. Meanwhile, the story spreads, and people everywhere are talking about it. On social media, in the news, and in fan circles. For the rapper whose brand it is, it's another headache in a year full of them. On the one hand, he's probably thankful no one was hurt and the fire didn't catch. On the other hand, it's a reminder that being famous doesn't just mean selling music and clothes. It also means your name is attached to everything, including moments of chaos you didn't ask for. So at the end of the day, this whole situation feels like a scene that could have come out of a movie. A normal afternoon in the city, a sudden burst of madness inside a luxury store, and then a fast police response. Everyone left wondering why it happened and what it means. Sometimes stories like this don't give you neat answers. They leave you with the sound of breaking glass in your head, the image of racks falling over, and the big question mark hanging in the air. That's why people are still talking about it. Because it wasn't just about clothes or money. It was about the shock of seeing something so random, so destructive, and so unexplained, all tied to a brand that's already in the spotlight. And that combination makes it one of those stories you can't stop replaying, even when you already know how it ends.